Welcome everyone to the show. I'm your host Don Vic.
I'm your co-host IG.
We're in the building, baby. You already know what it is. Today we have a special guest coming on the show, guys. Special woman, wife of a friend of mine. She's coming on the show today by the name of Kaiti Wallen, actress and co-owner of Painted Creek Productions. So we're going to bring her on the show. We're going to talk to her and find out exactly what she got going on today and what she's been involving herself in. So please welcome Kaiti Wallen to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going.
Hey, as long as it's going, everything's good.
Definitely, I agree.
Good. So tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name's Kaiti. I'm from the Metro Detroit area. I grew up in the Midwest, Michigan, the Metro Detroit area, like I said. I am a mom. I am obviously mom first, but we own a business of our own. We're entrepreneurs, and I'm also a myomasologist, so I kind of dabble in a few different things.
Right. So how do you balance everything? I mean, being a wife, being an actress, being co-owner of this company here, Painted Creek Productions, being a mom. Like, how do you balance all that?
Well, because it's a family business, that helps a lot.
Okay.
And it's not just my husband and I, but our kids as well. I mean, we've had them on set where they watch and observe and see how we do things. And it's a pretty fun experience when you involve the whole family, but it does consume you a lot,
Right. Yeah.
because you're living and breathing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, it helps. But what's nice too is that they have developed an interest in being a part. So
Awesome.
it makes it easier. Not like it's, you know what I mean? So whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera, they're intrigued. So let's just keep it going, right?
Right. That's awesome though. So you basically bringing them into business as well, right? Teaching them how to act and okay. That's amazing. Are they in the movie? Because I know you're in the movie with your husband. For those that don't know, Harley Wallen, which is a phenomenal dude, and he's been on the show before. You know, so big shout out to your husband, Harley. So I know you guys played in a movie called Tales.
Yes, that's a TV series. Yes.
What? It's a series. Okay.
Yes, it's a series. It's a series.
So,
it's an 8-episode series, but they're about 20 to 25 minutes long. Which makes it nice. Most people nowadays, they really like having those shorter shows, so that way they can kind of go in on their lunch break, kind of watch an episode real fast, get back to it when you get home.
Yeah, right. And wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, totally.
keep them wondering, like, what's going to happen next.
So what sites? What sites can people see them on?
Oh yes, Tubi you can find on, or Tale of Tales you can find on Tubi. But you can also find it on, I want to say it's like Fandango. I know IMDb TV. There's a few other places now that are about to release it. So right now it's just Tubi.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's where I seen the Tales of Tales is Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the movie. I mean, so your husband he writes the script for these movies, correct?
Not, it's funny because he has in the past, but when it comes to Tale of Tales, we had the person Tavis Markham, the main producer on it. He was the one that had started with the idea, and him and Steve Copera, another producer, got together and they kind of co-wrote this first pilot. And then as soon as Harley and I got on board, Harley, Steve, and Tevis all wrote the 8-episode series, which was a pilot before. So they kind of wrote it all from scratch from the pilot.
Okay, but he does, or you guys usually write your own scripts for the movies that you guys.
We work with a bunch of writers too, though. That's
okay. All right.
But in the past, we have done a lot of our own scripts.
Right.
But we are trying to branch out and get more talent involved.
Right. I mean, that's the right thing to do, right?
Yeah, especially because we're growing and, we want to kind of build this community up too and our team up and, bring us all forward.
Yeah. So how did you get involved into acting?
Okay, so I have a sister, an older sister, who went to Cal Arts, and she, you know, being from Michigan, she would fly to Michigan to make her like her thesis and stuff, like all the assignments that they had for her to do for that whatever semester it was, that she would come to Michigan and work on it in Michigan. And when she did that, because of me being her little sister, I was kind of under her wing. So like I helped with the auditioning. I was the one at the table when you signed up to get into the auditions. And then whether it was if she needed an extra hand on sound, I was there. If she needed a person walking in the background with a pumpkin, I was there. I mean, I was kind of seeing it from all different angles. And this was when I was like 12, 13.
Wow.
And then she did a short that was of her, but she used me as her. And I was the main character. I was the only one in this thing for like 8 minutes. Okay.
Wow.
And I sang in it and I was walking around in it. And it was just like all about her, but with me as a story.
Right.
And I was able to see, you know, with the whole setup and how she had like compiled all of this story into this short. And it was just fascinating. You know, from there, I felt like I was probably bit by the acting bug, but I didn't expect it to be my career.
Right.
Right, which is awesome. I mean, I can definitely say that I'm living my dreams.
Right. And you wasn't married at this point when you was doing that?
No, this was like like I said, when I was 14, 15. And then from there, I started modeling because it was easier for me. With her being out in California, I really didn't have the connections. Right. So when it came to photographers, I knew quite a bit. And then I became a published model. I have some stuff out there, which was fun, you know, but it's different. It's not acting. Right. And then when I met my husband back in 2011 or 12, or no, goodness Lord. Yeah, it was around there. My gosh, actually our 9-year anniversary is in like 2 days. We've known each other for 10 years. I know. Thanks. I'm like, gosh, awesome. This is crazy to think it's like been that long, you know? Right. But it's crazy. But we've, you know, from then we've both loved it. I mean, he came here for acting to begin with. And I'm like, hey, I like it. You like it. Let's do this. Let's see what we can do. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
Wow. I mean, I've seen some of the films. I haven't seen them all completely or to the end. Cause you know, I once I lay down and I see something I like, I usually doze off at the middle of the movie. So it takes me like 2 or 3 days to watch one movie, you know?
That's funny.
Yeah. But how is it working with Harley, knowing that he's your husband and you guys got to play?
I love this question. I get this question a lot.
Yeah, you love it. Me too.
Because a lot of people think because I'm his wife, right, that I get special treatment or something, and that's not the case at all. In fact, he's probably harder on me than he is than anybody else, because I know better, you know. I can actually sit and talk with Harley all day about my character if I wanted to, because he's willing to listen, because he loves being a director. He loves the approach, the act, like whatever way you or whatever approach you have as an actor. He loves being a part of like listening and kind of being the soundboard, you know, especially when it is his vision. But by the time that we get to set, I have to know my character in it, like the ins and out of my character on the back of my hand. And it's kind of like a higher expectation on me for myself too, because I know I'm his wife, but I'm also a really good actress, and I don't just get these roles because my husband's the director. I actually have to work for this, and I think I have to work 10 times harder than anybody else, because I need to be able to justify me getting this character.
Right. And not just that, but you can see it in the movie that you have done your homework.
You have to do your homework.
You know, you can tell by the way an actor or actress performs, you know, in front of the camera, that they've done some of their homework.
Yeah.
You know, because you got some that can act, some that are on media. Maybe those haven't studied as much as you did, you know, to get their character on point or become that character. So, you know, you've done a great job. I watched a little bit of Tales of Tales, and I seen you guys, but I didn't know at the time you were his wife. Till I started going on his page and I started seeing stuff. I said, wait a minute, and that lady, that young lady that was there was his wife. I said, oh, okay, now I put it together. But it's so, you know. So, what do you love about it the most?
You know, as far as acting or working with my husband, because I will tell you, there's perks to it for sure. working with him, it has definitely built our relationship up as a husband and wife. But I think we are also each other's worst critics.
Right.
Right. It's like with a marriage, you let each other know when somebody's doing something, call somebody out on something that's
exactly
not right, you know?
Right.
But we make sure like there's a time and a place, and especially when we're on set, because I can be, first off, I produce a lot. So like my head is all over the place some days. And even when I'm acting, I try to like kind of conform into my own bubble. Like I try to stay in myself so I don't have any distractions around me. I can't let somebody pull me out of my character.
Right.
There's times when I'll just call you by your character's name, and I may forget your real name because I've called you by your character's name for so long. You know what I mean? Like I kind of do these things. But it has definitely helped build our relationship. He knows when to talk to me. He knows what to say to me. I know when to step back. I know when to pull back. I know, you know what I mean? Like we kind of know each other's buttons, and we don't want to push the wrong button, you know? So we are really good about trying to maintain our boundaries and like, for instance, he's not my husband on set. He's the director on set.
That's right.
Right. And I am an actress on set.
Yeah, people need to know that.
Yes.
That, you know,
yes. And our crew needs to see that we hold each other to these expectations.
Yeah.
Because especially when you're dealing with a family, like a husband and wife, if there's any drama in their life and it comes onto set, that is like a nightmare. Right. I mean, I would avoid working with those people at all costs.
Right.
Because you don't do that. It's just not professional.
It's not at all.
No.
You don't want the cameras aiming over here, and then I'm like, we're going to Harvey and Katie for 1 second. It's on.
Right.
No. Now that's acting, guys. That's professional acting.
Yes, and there are times where we might push each other's buttons, which we don't really mean to, you know. Right. But we talk to each other about it, because like the last thing you want is to have any tension, you know, because that's the other thing too, is even if you're not fighting, if there's tension between you two, you can feel it on set.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want that on set. Make everybody else on ease. You know, I don't want.
Yes. And you can't, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to say?
Right. I'll be like, where's the nearest rock so I can hide under this?
What did I sign up for?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Is there a wall I can hide behind right now? That's funny. That's funny. What else besides acting do you do?
Okay, so obviously I'm an actor first, but I have been producing a lot more. When Harley and I first started, I was one of the main producers, but there was, like I said, when we first started, it was a skeleton crew. We had 3 people for our first feature film in the crew, and it was me, Harley, and Walbert. And our first feature film, whoever was like, it was just insane, right?
Right.
So not doing that again. Now we have professional crew, but I know, right? But I was able to step back and be more of an actress on a few films because we had built up our producing team. Right. And now I feel I'm capable of being able to take on some of those extra tasks, because what's nice about me and Harley being what a husband and wife is, we're with each other every day. Right. And I know what stresses him out when we're on set, when we're in production. Right. And it's the last minute stuff where it's like, how was this not taken care of beforehand? Right. Why? Because time is money. That's and if he wastes his time, he's going to be very pissed off. All right. Any director would be, right? Right. So I really try to make sure that like nothing slips through the cracks. So I'm like double checking props, double checking locations, double checking this and that, you know, double checking costume, making sure the actors have their times on their calendar, they're available. And I double check, because sometimes people just, I forgot that Thursday was the 2nd. Right. You know? Yeah. All that kind of stuff. And then I'm a myomassagist. Do you know what a myomassagist is by any chance?
No, what is it?
Okay. A myomassagist is a massage therapist, but they work with medical modalities. All right. Medical modalities are like craniosacral, lymph drainage. Even deep tissue is considered medical because you have to actually be educated in knowing what you're doing. But like we work with people with plantar fasciitis, you know, if you've ever dislocated a bone, if you've had a surgery, I mean, stuff like that, where it's more of like physical therapy approach to massage.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot.
So do you love producing more or do you love the acting part of it?
You know, I definitely love acting more because I love transforming into being characters.
Yeah, Transformer, right?
Right? Yeah, stepping in other people's shoes. I see it more as a therapy though. I think a lot of people, like, especially when you're I hate to say real and fake because it's really not the case. I think there's levels of acting. And there's certain levels that professionals get to where they can, I mean, you got Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like he wouldn't be where he's at if it wasn't for his levels of acting and him being able to be the character. And then there's actoring, you know, and then there's where people are sticky, which some people, if they're true, that's great, right? If as long as you're true. Al Pacino can be a little like that, but he's true to his character, so it works, right?
Yes.
It's awesome. But then there's the people who just don't understand and dive into those levels, and it's just, I don't know. I love those processes that you can go through, and like being able to be the character and transforming, and you learn a lot about yourself, and that's kind of how I see it as a therapy. Is I'm able to step out of myself and see these kinds of people for who they really are, and not judge them. You know, because you can't judge them as the actor.
Right.
But then producing is a very close second. I love being able to be a part of bringing the magic together in that capacity. Building the relationships with the owners of the locations we use, being able to talk to the actors, and you know, they have a lot of questions too that they maybe just can't bring up to the director because he's busy. And I like being able to be that person for them.
Do you guys do your own editing?
No, we do not. We actually we go through, like, what we do is we try to find a team of people who's really good at that specific task.
Yeah,
and that's not something that we feel inclined to be in because it's a very tedious task.
Right.
Editing is just like, I don't know how they do it. It's just so tedious, and it takes up so much time, and every second counts.
That's right.
Yeah. Every choice that you pick on wherever the camera is is placed, right, counts. You got to make sure that you can really keep the audience like in the story and not like break things up, or you know what I mean? Like you've seen those shots where like you can tell the continuity is so off there, and they didn't have a good enough edit there to be able to cut, you know, it jars you away from the story. But no, we actually go through some people that we feel are really good at editing. Each project is different though, you know?
Right. Yeah. Every project is different. Like
every editing style is different too. If you know editing.
Right. I was in this film last year, was it 2020? I was in the film, and the first person that the director had for editing, because we looked at it before we did anything with it, you know. So we looked at it, and I was like, you know, it's good, but I think that we can get someone a little better to make it look more official.
Mm-hmm.
We started. It's not easy to find someone that can edit.
No.
We went through like 6 people till we find one that we thought was good enough. You know, the placement of the movie, the song at the right place.
Oh yeah, and that matters so much.
Yes.
With the editing cut, because even if it's like 2-second lag, like say you were to put just a 2-second hold before to make sure that the beat of the song starts when they set their foot down, or something like some crazy little detail that can really bring the audience into that moment.
That's right.
To hold them in that moment.
Right. That's not easy.
No, it's not. And the thing is as you know, every editing style is different. Every editor has a different style. So it's very like it's a tedious job finding an editor, because they can still be a really, really good editor, but they just don't hit the mark because of their style.
Right. They're used to a certain style of editing, you know. I get it. Do you choose your own character to a play, or does Harvey say, hey, this is who you're going to be, and this is who you're going to be?
It's more about that, yes. So what happens with that, and actually I've had to tell the story a few times here lately because it's something that really bugged me in the beginning.
Right.
I never was able to choose my own character. He just kind of writes a character that he feels I'm more inclined to playing if it's his writing. Otherwise, when we work with other people, it's like, all right, what character do you fit? You know, because you really do have to think of your fit, your screen presence, and your truth, and what you can bring to that character.
Right.
When you, as a writer or even as a director, but when you know that you're bringing somebody in as a specific character and an actress. Right. So there was. Have you seen Betrayed yet, or have heard of the movie Betrayed that we did?
Betrayed. I think I seen it. I scrolled through it, but Tales was like the first one I seen, and then and then the recent one he did, Conquered, something like that. Conquered. I forgot the name of the movie, but
So Betrayed is about human trafficking, and this is the one about human trafficking. And there was two characters that one character that I liked, that I really wanted, and one character that I did not want to play. And when I read the script, like, it was so heart-wrenching, and I was like getting teary-eyed. I was feeling these feelings that this woman was feeling, and it made me super uncomfortable. Wow. So I'm like, you know what? I can't play her. There's no way I can play that character. Harley's like, no way are you saying that, because guess what? That's the character I want you to play.
Wow.
And we literally, like, I don't want to say it was a big fight, but it was a fight. We did get into a fight because I was not happy about that, because I was not comfortable. There were things that I had dealt with in my past where I was like, I have too much baggage. I can't carry that in with me because I haven't dealt with it yet. And I need you to just be respectful and mindful. And he's like, Katie, this is a growing experience.
That's right.
It's you can't run away from this. You have to be this character because, well, and here's the thing. Those feelings that I felt for that character when I read the script were the feelings because I was meant to play the character. It wasn't even like, if you feel inclined and you know how she's supposed to feel in those moments, and you're definitely supposed to be that character.
That's right. Yeah. Right. No matter. I get your point, but I also get Harley's point too. He wants you to play because he knows you will play that part the way he wants you to play. You will bring that character out, and you don't want to play because of the past. So I understand that. I understand that. So yeah, it has to come to you guys. Got to come to an agreement.
Some sort of thing. Well, and here's the thing, because I didn't really realize when we had gotten into that argument, I really actually didn't realize how much of my past affected my decision in just shutting down that character. Right. Because she's a very vulnerable character. She has to you have to really let go of some things. And I just wasn't feeling it. Like, I kept trying to build my wall back up because this like, I had said something, because this was years ago. Now, it was a key that I had thrown away, and I had to go find that key and unlock that door. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, it was very, it was. But here's the thing about it is I ended up falling in love with this character. Oh, and she was by far the hardest character for me to let go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Did you ever think that was going to
No. And even still, I feel like I definitely grew from that character. And which is kind of what he was saying from the very beginning. So I guess it worked out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. You also did a commercial recently?
I'm doing a commercial here, like within the week, actually.
Yeah, tell us about that. How that coming in? How that fall off the sky?
So funny thing, I know. My agent, I have a manager here in Detroit. His name's Benny Taylor, John Thomas Talent. He's the one that got it for me. I know. Thank you, Benny. But it's a funny. I don't know much about the commercial itself, but the character. She's going to be a prostitute. So, but it's for a commercial, and it's an industrial commercial, or an industrialized commercial. So it's not like her doing anything bad.
Right. I know.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
You tell us about EVE and violence encounters. EVE, violence encounters. It's a domestic violence program or something that you.
Oh, the Enough Initiative?
Yeah.
I can tell you, yes. Okay, so wow, we have a project coming up. It's called Finding Nicole. This project, there's a huge backstory to this story, and this thing, it's been kind of like just talking about it right now gives me the heebie-jeebies, because it's one of those things where you're meant to do something when you see all of these things align, and it's like, all right, we got to do this and we got to get this project up and going. So there's a woman, her name is Nicole Beverly. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she was married to a police officer who had turned into a like business manager of some kind, and he had a violent history with her, a domestic violent history with her, and because of him being a police officer, he was able to kind of go through the loopholes, because he knew what was able to work and what wasn't for him, whether it was like doing things in different jurisdictions and all these kinds of things, right? Well, she has recently wrote a story about her, about this whole thing that has happened, about what had happened, and he's in jail. He's in prison for years. But the thing is the Enough Initiative itself is about domestic violence and educating women about domestic violence, but not just women, but all people, because domestic violence happens to everybody.
That's right.
It is not just women, okay?
Right.
In fact, it happens to men quite a bit, just not as much. But either way, it's still really bad, right? But the Enough Initiative, she had started after the case was finished, right? And just educating people about domestic violence and teens and the red flags and everything, because I don't know if you guys noticed, there really are not enough people out there educating people on the red flags of domestic violence.
Right.
Because I mean, domestic violence is almost in every house. The statistics are insane. Okay.
Yes.
And it's been, if you really look back in history, I mean, it's been around since the beginning of times.
Yes.
Okay. But it's not talked about.
Right.
Why do we not have like a system in place to really talk about this, and like a place to help these women that, or not just women, children, men, everybody, these people who have been abused, these victims, we need to be able to have a program in place to help these victims, because the problem is these people aren't put away for life. These people are not given a death sentence. They can get out of jail and they can go right back after these people. And there's nothing except for, you changing your name. But when you change your name and your identity, you take away, like, all your education that you've ever had is lost. You have to go back to school and get yourself a new education under a different name, when it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? People lose their lives when they change their identity, and they don't want to have the victim should not be losing their lives.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just twisted. But the Enough Initiative is all about educating people on what happens and the red flags, and even giving, they have like a bunch of safe houses, and you can find, like, if you go through, they'll help you find a place and stuff. But it should not be nonprofits educating people. It should be in the government. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
At the government level.
That's right.
Yeah, because it's true, because domestic goes, it goes a long way. Whether, it goes from physically, mentally,
yes,
and also verbally.
Oh, yeah.
Because people might think that, when they say that words don't hurt, yes, that's understandable, they don't. But to a point where you bring that person down so much, and it brings them to a point where
you can break people down by your words. It's not you're not broken, but you can definitely break somebody down. And sometimes, I mean, think about it. When you go and you watch movies, the bad guy doesn't kill the victim right away. Right. Mm-hmm. They usually put them in suffering pain before they want to die. Right. It's the same concept when it comes to like an abuser and a victim. And it wrecks their lives.
And not just them, but the people around you, your loved ones, the people that know, say your mom knows that you're going through it. She's also going through the pain and suffering, because she's like, wow, my daughter's this. What can we do? I don't want to get involved because, if I call the cops, and then, so a lot of people are hurt over this, not just the victim, family members that know about it and don't want to get involved, suffering parents.
And the thing is too, because you're talking to, like, with the family, it's a trickle down effect for sure. Yeah. And it's not just immediate family, it's the extended family as well. Because do you think they're not struggling watching you go through this? Exactly. And they can't do anything about it because you won't allow them to do anything about it. Right. And if they do something about it, you make them feel awful because you didn't want them to do something about it. It's just, it's tricky. It's tricky. Right.
I ask people, you think love has a big factor to this?
Yes.
To still taste, knowing what you're going through, but you still stick around because sometimes the love overpowers everything else that you're going through.
Yeah.
Because you think, or your mind thinks that you still see something in this person, or you want to save your marriage because marriage is like big thing. If everybody is married and you don't want people to know that your marriage is going to hell.
Right? Well, I think, I understand what you're saying. There's a stigma on marriages. And I feel like people they talk about the fairy tale, right? Like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, they look so happy, all this. It's like, yeah, marriage is a lot of work.
It is.
Marriage has its ups and its downs. But the thing is, you have to know what love is supposed to look like at the end of the day. Because even a healthy marriage, you got to keep each other in check and say, hey, you realize that is a bit disrespectful to me. Right. Can you just try and be a bit more compassionate or something? You know what I mean?
Right.
Try and just think about me when you make that decision if you did something stupid or whatever, right?
Right.
Well, the same goes for, people shouldn't be hitting people if they love them. It doesn't matter how angry you get. And I know women especially, we can be conniving and manipulative, and we can say things because we want to push your buttons because you pissed us off.
Oh, yeah, good. You're good for that. I'll tell you. That's why I ain't got no hair, Katie, no more. I lost my hair.
That's funny. I say this all the time because we have 2 little girls, right?
Right.
And I tell everybody, if they were boys, I would not have my hair. Because they are rambunctious enough. But the thing is girls get worse, boys get better.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I think a woman's always tougher than a man when it comes to the arguing part. Women can really push the buttons.
They know how to.
They know how to.
And the thing is, girls, I love you. Trust me. I'm a huge, I'm all about women's rights and all that. But you got to remember too, that man is trying to protect you. That's their job.
That's right.
Protect you.
Yeah.
So just remember that, ladies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to protect you, and at the same time, you're putting him down. You're beating up on him, and just how can I defend you when you're beating up on me?
For real.
But I think at some point also in relationships, it gets so toxic that they do not want to move on with anybody else to have to deal with the same thing with another person because they dealt with it for so long.
Hello, can I say? I agree. Amen.
Yeah.
That's funny. I think a lot though of what we need to realize, and it's for men and women, is the kind of people that we're drawn to.
That's right.
Because for you to say, I don't want to be in another relationship because every relationship that I've been in has been toxic and they've been douchebags or assholes, whatever. Right. Maybe you should think about what kind of people you've been attracted to, because maybe it's that you need to change.
Yeah.
It's all in that right there. It's just you got to decide what kind of person do you want to be around. I want to be around a guy that's nice.
I want to be around.
Doesn't really have to do with his looks,
Yeah, as long as they got a good heart and understanding and
responsible, a real man. Somebody who is good at paying their bills on time. Stuff like that. Responsible.
Yeah. Give that respect.
Family first. That's a huge thing.
Right.
Respect. Communication,
loyalty. Everything comes into play.
Yep. Communication, respect, loyalty, all that. I say. Well, we say it's so simple, of course, because it's never that 50-50. Right. That's gone out the door years ago with that. I don't know why, but
I think we are just so consumed now with our bubbles that we don't even think about what that word even means anymore. Right. Because when you talk about respect, respect each other's time. When you hang out or you go out on a date, why are you guys in your phones?
Right.
be with each other.
That's
enjoy your time together.
You're so right, Katie, about that. Like I go to places sometimes and I eat. Sometimes I'm with my son. My son's sitting right here, but we go sit and me and him are talking, and my eyes start to wander, and I'm looking around, and I see couples, and they're sitting there eating. There's no conversation.
No,
she's on her phone. He's on his phone. And this can go on for like minutes, like 20 half hour before something comes out. You're hungry? You finished yet? And then like they get up.
No conversation.
And she's walking ahead of him. He's behind her, and he's still on her. She's on her phone. So that can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, I just think there's a time and a place, and I mean, obviously, my husband and I, we own a business together, right? And I'll tell you, there are a lot of times, not a date though. We try to be very, very particular when it comes to like our dates. That like we just keep it to the side. If we have to really answer it, we will. But it's like not really meant to be a big part of our date.
That's right.
But like we work together, so we're talking about work a lot, and there's times where we have to show each other stuff on our phone, but we're at least, and like we'll be in our phones answering emails or whatever, but we're at least like conversing with each other.
Right.
We're talking with each other,
Right. And that's so important. Like I get on the bus, like back in the day when I used to get on the bus, and you get on the bus and people are talking to each other and giving you compliments, oh, I like your shoes, nice dress, or, whatever the case may be. Communication. Now I got on the bus because I got a flat on my car, so I had to take a bus from where I was at. I get on the bus.
Jeez.
Mind you, I'm on the bus and I'm looking, everybody on the bus except the driver, because he was driving. I'm pretty sure if he wasn't driving, he would be like this too. But everybody was on the phone. It was so silent in there, you can hear a mouse running through. And I was like, wow, while technology got these people really focusing on nothing.
People don't really like talk with each other that much anymore. We're more to ourselves, like, and especially because you're talking about like trains and like buses, subways, whatever it is, like you want to talk about a chance to really get to see somebody in their element, just people watch, see what they're doing and what's going on. I mean, not trying to say that be weird about it or anything, but the last friend that you met, was it online or was it like in person, like it's kind of like something you got to really think about. It's such a different world we live in. It
is. This technology is taking people to the next level.
And the crazy thing is technology is not the problem, it's the people.
Right. I catch myself sometimes. Doing the same thing.
Right. I know, but it's because the thing is technology has we live in a day and age where we're able to know whatever, like I have a question, Siri can answer it for me. Okay. Like we actually live in a day and age where we don't have to go find books to find the research. Like it's so readily available, and convenience is so convenient now. It's unreal. I mean, you can order a package at night and get it sent to you for the next morning. When does this, like, this is so crazy, right? People 50 years ago, this would have been mind blowing. But we are so comfortable with these conveniences that we don't see the damage that it has caused for us in the long term. Like social anxieties are through the roof right now with mostly teens and younger adults, because their lives have been focused more on the technology side of things rather than, being out in public and going to the roller rink and dancing and hanging out with friends.
That's right. Right. That's right. When was the last time you spoke to your neighbor? Hey neighbor, my phone don't work, or you got a pen I can borrow. That you don't even hear that no more. Neighbors don't even talk to neighbors no more.
It's different, but I think too, you just depending on like where you live and stuff. Because I'll tell you, with where we are, it's a pretty cool group. Like we have like 25 houses in our neighborhood, and most of them have kids. So like our kids can just go out and play at any given time, And what's nice is that because every parent really in the subdivision sees this, they're making sure that our kids are not just like going and watching TV all day, You know what I mean? Like there's actually effort in kids playing. And so we do, we actually have movie nights. What we do is we have like a drive-in screen on one of our garages, and everybody brings their seats, their lawn chairs and bags of popcorn and, you know, drinks, and we all hang out in the driveway and watch a movie together. Like
that's awesome.
You can do that stuff, guys. You just gotta kind of get it going.
Yeah. Motivate yourself, right? Motivate
really.
The ideas.
It takes effort though, and I think it's hard. It's easy for people to just fall into their habits, right?
Right. Yeah. So true. It is so easy to, you know, to fall in that world, man, because everything like we've talked about, everything's is through technology. And so, you know, I see kids that don't even want to go outside no more. They'd rather be in the computer before you tell them go play some basketball.
It's so sad.
Or they don't want to go hiking. They don't want to do nothing but sit on their computers, you know, play their games. You know, and I find that kind of like too much, because they need to go out and be a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, because I mean, every county, doesn't matter what state you are, every county is different. You either have sidewalks as a part of the law where everybody needs to have sidewalks for people to walk around and be social, or you don't, right? And it shouldn't be that way. I really feel that like we need to have a system that works for people to have readily accessible lifestyle habits that are healthy. Okay. So sidewalks should really be everywhere. You should be able to bike, right? There should be a bike path just about everywhere.
That's right.
You should be able to choose. I want to be able to go rollerblading. There's a sidewalk right there. Let's go. You know? There's not a lot of that. It's so like the way that we do things here, it's so sloppy. And I mean, Harley is from Sweden, right? In Sweden, they have a bus stop like just about everywhere. You could be in the middle of nowhere and there's always a bus stop.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's just makes you think about things a little differently, you know? Because I'll tell you, those kids, they would probably be outside if they knew there was a playground a quarter of a mile away. You know what I mean? Or like sidewalks to even get there. Or an easy place for them to put their bike. There's not really a lot of bike stands around like there used to be. Because, you know, I mean, I don't know how it is with you guys. Being in Boston, it's probably very different. You guys.
Yeah, we in the city, so we live in the city, so we have everything here. There's nothing we do not have out here in Boston.
See, that's awesome. In Detroit, they have that.
Boston is like New York. Boston is
it's easier in Detroit to have that stuff available, but like the further out you go, the harder it is to find. You know, and I think that's like that with most metropolitan areas, right?
Yes. Yeah, any major city you go to, New York, Boston, you know, Chicago, those big cities, California, they all have. You don't really have to leave nowhere. Everything's there.
But it's easier for you to go outside and do things, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. We can go anywhere, and you see a park, bus drive by. You know, you want to roller skate, ice skate. They got rings out here. You know. So there's a lot of stuff to do out here. I don't know how it is over where you at, but
with where we're at, it's pretty good because we live in an area where you have to have sidewalks, right? We live right close to a village downtown, and it's smaller, but it's actually like we have a very involved community. We live in a community where like store owners and stuff, they live close by.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like it's very family community, which is awesome because it helps a lot with that kind of stuff, right?
It sure does. You know, we over here we got we got all the big stores near here, you know. So I'm pretty sure the owners don't live where we live at, but you know,
like the major businesses.
Stores, yeah, you know, like Old Navy, Polo.
Oh yeah, and we still have that stuff close by too. But what's really cool with like Lake Orion, for instance, is they actually don't allow fast food restaurants to be downtown, like in the downtown area. But they're all outside of downtown, you know. But most of the stuff in town is like family owned or like small chains, right? So like Sagebrush Cantina, there's a couple different locations, but Sagebrush and Lake Orion is a pretty big hot spot. There's a few other places that are just like that, like, you know.
Wow. Okay. So that's a town where you guys. It's a town where you guys live in, not a big city. Oh, okay. That's more like Malden for us. Yeah. Malden, like his town where he live at. it's off the city. It's like a town, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see us? We lost.
Can you see me?
No, we lost you off camera.
All right, there you go. Can you see me now?
Yep, got
All
you.
right,
good.
Okay,
Good.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I've always lived in a big city. You know, I tried moving into smaller towns, but I just can't. I'm so used to the noise here, the trains, the buses at 2, 4.
See, it's so different. Like, I get what you're saying with that. When you live in the city, you have that background noise, and
Yeah.
that background noise you get used to. And then when you don't have it anymore, you're like, what the heck? But we have a different kind of background noise.
Oh, well, yeah, because that's you guys live on the town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what advice would you give the upcoming actors or actresses that are coming up, you know, that want to get into the acting world or filming? What advice would you give them?
First thing I would do is say, go find yourself an acting coach.
Okay.
And there's a reason for this. I think that most people who really get into, like, you know, aspiring into acting, they don't really understand the concept of being able to pull themselves out of themselves and being something else. They try to play pretend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a level, and you need to kind of figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are, to where you can, like, so if you get like a one-on-one acting coach, they can say, hey, you're really good at this, but you need to work more on this. You can maybe go find a class to go work on that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they're able to, it's almost like, you know, like your doctors are able to talk to you about your health. Well, a coach can talk to you about your levels of acting. And
Right.
if you're really good at specific things, great. You should still work on those, but you should work more on the stuff that you need work on.
Right, because you know a lot of people don't understand. Right, I didn't know this as an actor
Mm-hmm.
when I started that face expressions
Yes.
mean a lot. You know, you got to know when to use certain face expressions to your character, when it needs to come out, when it don't need to come out.
Well, what's funny about even that is I wouldn't even worry so much about what you're supposed to look like for what moment.
Right.
I would just make sure that I'm right where I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to feel, because it will naturally come out.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? There's people who say, oh yeah, you need to practice in front of a mirror. All right. I have like a love-hate relationship with that, because it's good for you to see what you look like, because people sometimes think that they look a specific way.
Yeah.
But they actually don't look that way at all. You know?
Yeah.
Where, okay, you got to kind of see how that looks, because, for instance, with me, there was a character that I was playing that I'm like crying. But the thing is sometimes when I cry, it looks like I'm smiling. That's not supposed to, like, no.
See, that's a Katie. Are you crying?
You know, so I'm like, oh my gosh. So with that, I just think it to myself, try to frown.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that way, when a smile tries to come on, it looks like a frown. It's just little things like that, you know?
Right. Yeah. So, well, for me, that's, you know, learning some certain things, you know, made me better at acting and stuff, you know. So I get it. It's not easy. People think it's just easy to go there, read a script, and go out there and read a script. It's not that easy. You got to find a character. You got to read it. You got to be that character.
You do. And when you mean be that character, what really needs to come to mind is, who am I?
Who am I? Yes.
Why do I feel the way that I do? Because those two things, especially, because you could say, dang it, so many different ways, but how are you supposed to feel that? Like, when you go and do that, are you angry? Are you sarcastic? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, is this silly? Like, oh, dang it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so many different ways to insinuate things, but it's all based on how you feel. So like, you pretending to say it some way, you can tell the difference.
Right. So facts. So what else would you like the people to know about you?
Wow, what else is there to know? I am a starving artist just like you guys. You know, I love to do this, but I'm still learning, you know, I'm still a student to the craft.
Right.
I would go and take lessons anywhere. Like we're actually going out to LA here in a couple of weeks, and I want to go see if I can find some place to take an acting class and just, you know, just kind of learn and see what they are doing and what they would say if there's anything I don't know. Because I'm, like I said, you got to still be a student to the craft.
Right.
As soon as you shut that down, your growth stops.
Right. And LA is the right place to be to get classes, because that's LA is, you know, is big for acting. You know that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you won't have no problem finding a place to go.
No, I don't think I will either. We know a couple of actors ourselves that are coaches and stuff, and that they have classes, but we're only there for like 3 days, and like there's certain things that I want to do when I'm there, but that's more like, okay, I'm in this place. Is there any place around here that has it at this day and this time when I'm available? You know?
Right. Timing got to be right.
Right. The timing definitely has to be right.
That's
But
awesome.
I'm for that though, because you know, if you're open to it, you know, with the right energy, you're gonna find it. You know.
Right. So, what's your next project?
Well, our next project is actually it's called Dependency, and it's just now, really, like last week. I think Harley got the script, so it's still very fresh and new. But it's a psychological thriller. Have you guys seen the movie Split?
Split.
Yeah, it's like a multiple personality movie.
But I'm gonna watch it.
Basically,
is it out or no?
it's out. Yeah, it's out. It's about a woman who you don't know if she's got like schizophrenia or not.
Okay.
But it's like a whole mind fuck, you know? You don't know if you don't really know what's going on, and if she's hallucinating, or like if the people around her even exist, but you figure things out, you know,
as they go.
Yeah, I don't want to give it all away, but it's a fun script.
So are you in that movie as well with Harley? Is Harley in this movie as well?
Well, I am playing the woman.
Are you playing?
This is going to be very interesting for me because
crazy woman.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, you think she's crazy, but the question is, she's really crazy.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know if she's crazy. You think she might be crazy, and then you see everything like, wow, that's great. Like the whole situation. I can't give too much away, but you get what I mean.
Don't get. Okay. I won't.
But she's a recovering addict, so there's a lot that.
So there's a lot of personalities. A lot of personalities that you're going to be playing.
Yes.
Kind of like the movie Sybil.
I have not seen that.
That movie Sybil, yeah, it's a
great movie.
It's a great movie. It's an old time movie, but Sybil was a female that played. She kind of like what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
She played a movie. People didn't know if she was seeing things or being her or being someone else. Like she had different personalities.
Yeah. And the thing is you kind of wonder, like, oh, is that a personality disorder? Or is this stuff actually happening?
Exactly.
Because like you'll see it like you think things are just thoughts, you know what I mean? And like visions or something. Like it's crazy. It's one of those movies that you're definitely gonna have to pay attention to every second.
Right.
You know, because you could get lost, because that's the thing, especially with movies like that, you know. Yeah. When you're dealing with like a multiple personality or some sort of like schizophrenia, or you know what I mean, somebody recovering from being a drug addict, and all that stuff. But yeah, no, it's exciting. But I've never played a character like that, so this to me is like a whole new spectrum.
It's a challenge for you.
Yes, it is, and it's nerve-wracking, and that's usually when I get fired up, because I have to feel like I'm ready and prepared. You know what I mean? I have to do my due diligence.
Right.
When I feel that. And right now, Harley, there's something that he could play, but it kind of all depends on like what we see for specific characters, because we try to bring name talent into every project that we do. And there's a few characters that could be name talent. So like it kind of depends on how all that plays out.
Right. You know, I would love to play a mob boss movie with Harvey. He got that mob
That's
look.
funny.
Yeah, you know, all the things I get is like action. I always get either the mobster role, or I get the gangster role, or I get to play the bad guy. They say you got that look for the bad guy look. So those are
That's
usually
funny.
my roles.
It's good to know what stereotype typecast you kind of get to be, because people look at you, that's kind of what they see, you know, and it
Right.
could be so different from one person to the next. But it's cool that like because when you kind of figure it out, it's easier for you to be able to like train in those styles, right?
Right.
So like when you're a mob boss, were you ever an Italian mob boss, or like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like kind of
Sì,
playing off those
Fasano.
things where like, are you, you know, like, yeah, it's good for you to train in whatever areas you feel best fitted for, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Like this recent movie I'm in, right? I play a CIA agent.
That's awesome.
Right? But I can play that because you know I'm like a bodyguard. So
Right.
I'm built. I'm built. I'm a big dude.
I could
And
see that. Yeah, you definitely have that screen presence.
right. So when he said to me, "You could play a CIA agent," I said, "Of course. That's my field." You know, I'm the muscle.
There you go.
So it went well. You know, I loved it, and I look good playing the agent. You know, it fit well with me.
Right.
And so I guess on the next he's shooting another one in 2022, and I believe he's writing me a script
Mm-hmm.
because he just liked the way that I you know I did my part, and he said, you know what, I want you to work with me next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write you a script. I'm gonna write you a line so to get you more into the
See, and
film.
that's another thing too, especially when you start getting yourself out there as an actor.
Mhm.
If a director really likes you and sees that you're, you know, responsible, you show up on time, you're
Yeah,
prepared, you know your stuff,
right.
they want to work with you again.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like to bring people in that they feel they can't depend on.
That's right. Yeah,
So that's really great. And especially like getting to know writers and directors, I mean, as an actor, that's the best thing you can do.
right, right. And it's you know they don't come easy.
No.
They don't come easy, you know. But I've been blessed with this show that I've met fabulous people like yourself and
Hmm.
your husband that are into filming. I met a lot of directors, writers that's been coming on my show that are great people. And you know, and what I do is I like to connect them
Mm-hmm.
with certain individuals, you know, that I might feel you might fit with a certain, you know,
That's
director.
great though.
Then what I do is I try to connect them so
Mm-hmm.
they can come up with other ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And bigger projects. So that's kind of like what I like to do
That's awesome though. It's nice to be able to like, you know, get people together and collaborate if they can, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. And that's what I like to do because at the end of the day, we want everybody to win, right?
Yep.
That's what my show is about. I want everybody that comes on my show to win. Whatever I
Mhm.
can do, what we can do to help better the situation or make the situation grow bigger, then
Yeah.
we try to make that happen. You know, so I love my show. This is why we love the Don Big Show.
That's awesome.
Because
Well,
we
I'm
can.
glad to be on it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I was excited about this.
really awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Harley told me about it because he was on the show here a little bit ago.
Yes, your husband was on here. He
Mm-hmm.
was fabulous. He felt so comfortable. We went for like an hour and some change, right?
Oh my
I cou-
goodness.
I couldn't get Harvey out even if I had a bat to get him out. He just loved it. He just came in. He felt comfortable and he just came all in. You know, he let it all out, and I love him. I love his energy. He's so dope.
Yeah, he has a good energy.
Yeah, he does. And the fact that he used to dance. You know, he used to
Yeah, he used to break
Oh,
dance
my-
and he was a pro fighter.
Yes, that threw me, you know, completely to the left.
Well, what's funny about that now, like people don't really get it, but he is so down to earth and humble, like such a
Yes.
cool, chill person.
Right.
He doesn't talk about like any of this stuff. And it's like, dude has danced with Janet Jackson.
Wow.
He danced with Janet Jackson. How many people can say they've done that? Like, that's freaking awesome. You know?
That's like
Janet he's Jackson hung out with like he was just talking to me about this last night. He's like, man, when I was like a young dancer in Sweden, like I had all these friends that were like higher up, and I just was so like he was so young and like naive, you know, like he didn't really he didn't really cherish the moments the way that he felt he should have now, right? But that's what happens, right? But it's just funny because he has seen and met so many crazy people that like what? No way. Have you done that? Really?
Didn't he say? Wasn't he saying? He said those things like he puts it to the side.
Yeah.
You know. Like how do you put? I mean, you want like you said, mention it once in a while, but it's like you put this Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they were at. I want to say he was like at a bar or a club or something, but they were just dancing. They were all having a good time, and she was there, and they were all just dancing, and she danced with him. I'm like, dude, wow, that's freaking so awesome.
That's so dope. And you know, and I understand what he's saying, right? Because I went to California not too long ago, and I was invited to a private event, and I met some celebrities. I was with Doug Jones, which he played in Hellboy and Star Trek. Yeah. So being in the same room, I met Diana Franklin also. Nice. I met her daughter Olivia was there, and many more celebrities. And for me being there, right, and I'm still trying to like
process it
because you know,
coming it's a surreal moment,
right?
Really,
coming
when you're around those high end caliber of talent.
Yes. Being in that room and knowing from where I'm from out here in Boston, what we call the hood, right? We call the hood. And to be in that position, to be able to be surrounding myself to that, like you said, how many people can say that
I know
were around these individuals and not just that, but taking pictures, because I took pictures with them. So, you know, now that I process it, I said, wow, you know, like I was really doing something. I was, you know, like you said, you have to surround your people around people that are doing things so that you elevate yourself and be able to connect people with people.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of like what I like to do, you know, but we definitely love having you on the show. We're definitely going to bring you back on the show.
Yay.
In a couple of months, you know, once you guys get to do more stuff and have other things to talk about. Maybe we can bring you guys on the show and talk about other things, you know, that you guys have going on.
Guys, thank you for hanging out with me. It's been fun. I've had a blast.
That's hey. It's a Don Big Show called IG. This is where you need to be.
There you go.
So thank you for coming on the show. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, tell Harvey we said what's up, and we'll see him soon as well.
All right, will do. You guys have a good night.
Okay, ciao.
Great. And happy Halloween.
Oh, yeah. You too. Yes, well, that was Kaiti Wallen, wife of Harvey Wallen, that was just on the show. She's an amazing woman as well. Listen, these people are great, man, and they're doing a lot of big things, you know, as far as filming. Make sure you guys log in on their page, check out the movies that they've been working on and that they have posted up on their website. Show the love, and show the sharing, because
share.
Because sharing is caring. And we will come back at 7 o'clock. We have another amazing actress coming to the show by the name of Lisa Bagby. She's an actress. And we'll be talking to her at 7 tonight. So make sure you guys log in and remember to share it, man.
We're going to take a nap. No, I'm going to take a nap.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back after these few messages. So make sure y'all tune in and come back at 7 o'clock because we got an amazing person coming along the show. So we're going to let y'all go. Thank everybody. Big shout out to Katrina, Helen, Donna Lynn, and everybody else that's watching Bakar Radio. Make sure you get to Bakar Radio if you want your music played.
Mr. Brian Barboza.
Shout out to two-time champion Brian Barboza that was in the building. Shout out to his wife as well. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys tune in. You heard? So we're gonna kind of let y'all go with a little bit of this. Hold up, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Peace, love, respect. Tune in, 7 o'clock. We out.